Hey, hey. Hi, guys. I'm laughing because I just literally lost an entire deck on the floor. That's all right. It happens. But Leos, let's keep that in mind. Maybe there's some kind of unexpected little mishap. Obviously, hopefully, it's nothing detrimental. We got the Five of Swords. Okay, there could be an argument, and it could be like, wow, that just shook this foundation. We could have an argument, some hostile energy. We have the Magician, though. Well, let me put it this way. Once in a while, when we get into, you know, an issue with someone, sometimes that's where we decide, you know what, I'm going to make some changes in my life. Gosh darn it. I'm feeling like this is the end of the road. I want to go ahead and turn my fortune around. I want to turn my attention to something else because I don't like what just happened here. This could be somebody has an irritation or an argument with someone, or they're argumentative or irritated about something in their own life. And that gives them the impetus to say, I'm changing things. You know what? I'm done. This could be a Libra, Gemini, Aquarius who is all of a sudden saying, this family tree, this thing I've been devoting myself to, I'm done with it. I now have permission. I'm giving myself permission because I've been treated so heinously to go ahead and get what I want out of life. And they begin manifesting like a mofo. This is somebody who is, this magician's got four arms. They're doing everything they can do. We do have the Chariot in the reverse and the Queen of Wands in the reverse. The problem with this is that we may have karmic energy wanting to stop them. So no, you don't. Who says you're going anywhere? I don't feel like this is Libra or Leo right now, even though I could have said that. I just did a Libra video, so forgive me that Libra popped off the top of my tongue there. But this I could say is Leo, but this could also be an Aries or a Sag, feminine that could be a karmic who's like, no, I don't care if we had a fight and an argument. You're not going anywhere. This could be a Virgo or a Gemini that wants to leave a situation following an argument, but a karmic is definitely holding on tightly. We have a Four of Swords sideways. This is talking about like old history is being reanimated. This feels like this person who's irritated, and the fact that they feel justified in leaving, and the fact that this could be an ex. This could be an ex from a long time ago of Leo's that is going to be reemerging in Leo's life because they're like, you know what? I don't have to stay in an unpleasant situation. I remember once upon a time I was a heck of a lot happier, and it happened to have been maybe with Leo. This could be somebody who's coming in hot. They're coming into Leo hot on the heels of an argument. They may have had one too many arguments with a toxic ex. Or whomever they were with, someone that it was just not an aligned relationship at all. None of this was where they were supposed to be. Their life wasn't blossoming. It wasn't blooming. The person that they were with, they were miserable with, and vice versa. There was no growth here. They ended up in the wrong connection from what I can tell. And with this, their mind, I really think, goes right back, I think, to Leo and to this 10 of Cups. Like once upon a time, I was so much happier. I remember that. The only problem I see here is, although it's great that they're like manifesting whatever it is that they want. Yeah, I was going to say, are they really like healed enough to be doing this? It seems like they're jumping from one, really conflict-filled situationship that has held them back and has been miserable for a long time. And then they're just like, bam, jumping ship, go in a new direction. And I just can't help but wonder, are they healed enough? And sure enough, that card comes up. So that might be something to, just be mindful of with this character. Who is Leo in all this? Eight of Wands. Leo is the one who's going to be receiving a message from them. Leo is the one they're running to. Leo is the one they're headed to. But they just had a huge blow up that made them exit stage left. Okay, so Leo is the person they cannot wait to talk to. They might almost seem giddy, happy, like, oh my God, my life is so much better. I finally made the change, Leo. I needed to make this change for a long time. They seem to be really happy. I think Leo's going to be happy too because we got the 10 of Cups twice now. But this could be like a very joyful reunion or a very joyful, like maybe this is something that Leo has wanted for a long time. Like, you know, if things ever changed in that person's life and they came my way, hell yeah, that we could be great together, we could be happy together. Leo in this case is the person that they are running to. The only problem I see is that this is very self-indulgent, even though they keep saying that they want the 10 of cups. Are they going to be able to give Leo a 10 of cups energy, considering, you know, they just got out of something? See, they may still need to decompress. We got that 5 of cups here sideways. It almost feels like this is happening a little too fast for my taste. You know, they're done. Final fight. That's it. It's over. I'm bouncing. I'm leaving. But both of these cards both say they could still come in kind of wounded. They could still come in and have, like, after a flurry of thrilling excitement that I made this change, Leo, I'm done with the past stuff. But it doesn't mean that they're healed from it. Even though, I mean, I don't see them yo-yoing back. I just see them coming in hot, you know, making their way directly to Leo. Okay, what's the lie about? They may have split and not officially ended things properly. Tree of Life. I'm not going to say that they caused a fight on purpose to make this big upheaval. But there is something here about a lie, running away, almost like they've wanted this to be over for a long time. They needed justification for why. Yeah, 10 of Swords sideways. And it may not be an official, this is over, this is done. Like, they may still have a lot of work to do to detach and, you know, decouple their life. They may be telling Leo that it's done, it's over, I'm gone. Nope, I'm single now. And really, they could have literally just left after a big argument that they might have participated in on purpose because they wanted this to be over and done. They wanted to escape. The problem here is that if they didn't, you know, disassemble their life, if that whole life is still so connected and it's like, well, we own a house together, you know, whomever they just ran from, whomever they had this big fiery argument with, that Queen of Wands in the reverse, if they split, hopped on a plane, drove down the highway, went down to Leo's, and they said, nope, I'm done, it's over, Leo. That's only true in semantics, not in legitimate ways. That could be a lie. They may know full well that they have a ton to still decouple. So between them not actually being healed yet, and between them not actually having handled this with the, like, you know, I've been single for a while, Leo, I broke up with someone, you know, I've moved out, you know, I've got my other place, I'm, you know, I've changed these things in my life. See, it could take a long time still. This ending could actually be very dragged and drawn out, which could mean that they're about to muddy the waters in Leo's world. Is that going to impact their ability to have a 10 of Cups with Leo? Possibly greatly, because of that 5 of Pentacles. They're coming in still not being 100% honest about having ended things properly. They're coming in still upset and wounded. They're coming in saying, I'm ready for all this happiness, but they're coming in clearly expecting Leo's going to need to take care of them. They are coming in like the Fool. And the Fool is the baby. The Fool doesn't really have their bearings. You know how babies are exploring the world, right? Babies don't know how the world works yet. So their little hands, once they learn that they can operate their hands, they clutch at everything, right? Once they learn that their hands can deliver items into their mouth, they put everything in their mouths. They're tasting and exploring the world. I kind of feel like this person is going to be a bit of like a baby clutching on. And I'm not saying that they're juvenile or anything like that. I'm not trying to be insulting. I'm just saying that they're jumping literally out of one connection that ended like on a big old fiery note, and they're racing away from it and running to Leo to have all this happiness, but without doing the literal work of saying, how is this going to work? In the grown-up world, like, you have to sever ties, you have to think about finances, you have to work to sell off the house if you owned a house with a previous partner, if you had business things, can they really just split? Can they really just run away? Do they have taxes they owe? Do they have debt they owe? Do they have things in another town, another place that they have to, they can't just leave their car at the airport while they flew away to Leo's. Who's going to go get their car at the airport? It's in movies, characters get to just start over and leave everything behind. But in real life, you're going to be in trouble. You're going to get fines for dumping a car someplace, never picking it up from the airport. You're going to get in trouble. You're going to have fines and all kinds of mess if you don't handle life in an appropriate way. And I kind of think that in this case, they're hoping I did this big jump into Leo's life and now maybe Leo will help me. Because I don't think they have a very deep plan here, other than I want to be with Leo because I'm brokenhearted. I'm upset. Three of Swords. And where's your broken heart coming from? I really hope that they're not running to Leo because they're brokenhearted over the fights that they had with other people. No, they're brokenhearted because they wish that they had been with Leo all this time, but now it almost feels indulgent, like they get to be with Leo because they deserve that. They deserve to be with Leo. That's how I would say it. Let me double check on that Lover's card. They're also, I think, saying that Leo has been brokenhearted without me too. We shouldn't have been kept apart. The problem I have with this is, and I'm going to double down on it because we have the Page of Wands. The way this seems like a track record for this person where they don't always behave like an adult, to say they kept us apart. Well, you're a grown up who could have made powerful decisions to end connections and say, no, I won't be staying with my karmic. I don't need to do that. Like they should have maybe and could have taken their own life to task and said, I am making plans to exit because of X, Y, and Z. Instead, it kind of feels like it came to this big old crescendo. Now, maybe this is them, getting into that mature state and saying, this is intolerable. The only problem I have here, though, is that they seem to have been saying, you know what, Leo and I both have just been brokenhearted because we weren't allowed to be together. But I keep wanting to say, but whose fault is that? You can't say they wouldn't let us. You're not a kid. You're grown-ups. So you always have the power to choose. But I mean, again, I'm being very like one-dimensional with this. And of course, there's so much more that goes on in anybody's life and anybody's circumstances. So maybe there were legitimate reasons they were like more or less prevented from being able to just have a relationship with Leo and have, chosen to move toward Leo a long time ago. But I don't understand why they couldn't have just done this before there had to be all this, upheaval. And we do have this Page of Wands that is sideways, which still looks like, I don't know, it kind of looks like the bond that they have with Leo. And forgive me for saying this, is not that it's not there. I mean, obviously they think Leo is their 10 of cups and they've said it a couple times, but that looks highly romanticized. And I almost wonder if this person has to do everything in big dramatic ways instead of, responsible step by steps. I'm not trying to rain on this. I'm just saying that there are some concerns about how they operate, because that may get very old for Leo if Leo's the only adult in the relationship and this person is prone to big dramatic sweeping changes, and then they just hope somebody else will help them figure out the change they just made because they didn't think it out strategically and responsibly and speak their piece and make their choices in a way where they were handling their business. Got that Palace of Cups. There is a ton of emotion and it seems to be shared emotion, so that could be really good. Is there anything else about this storyline like to be, just like the best way to navigate this, I'll say? Emperor sideways. Okay, it is going to have to be Leo and this person figuring things out together, because they are not coming in as an emperor. Leo, I did this, I made this choice in my life, everything is all sewn up, tidied up, I exited, I've paid off the ex, I'm selling the property, blah, blah, blah. I don't think that they're coming in with all of their ducks in a row. This will be one of those situations where the universe says, just know, I mean, Leo's going to play a really big role in all the decision making in even this person's life. And they may want Leo to be there. And that could be wonderful. Honestly, if they are revamping their whole life, if they're coming in saying, I did something crazy and wild and I just walked away from everything, and Leo, there's so much that I have to work out, and I literally just said, I'm done, and I split. I haven't talked to my ex or my job or anything about how I'm dismantling everything. That's a whole nother topic. I just knew I needed to get to you. They may come in and say that, like, I am showing up and my life is kind of in shambles. together can we build a new one? And this could be what Leo has wanted. Honestly, this could be Leo. She's even saying, like, come to me and we'll work it out. I kind of think they wanted to do this. And I think in this story, thank God, this works because this is what Leo had wanted to. Leo was like, leave it all behind and just get here, and then we can fix it and build together. And maybe that's the way this has to be. This is how it has to roll for this to be successful. Leo and this person have to be able to unite forces and build the next life out of the ashes together, even to the point of, like, Leo maybe needs to help give them counsel on how best to deal with, the karmic X as they're detaching and decoupling everything there. It could be that this is the way it absolutely had to go. It's a little unusual maybe, but on the other hand, sometimes two people need to be together to, like, activate, the potential of what they can do together. Like, they're more together than apart. So it could be that the only way this will get smoothed out is if they're there with Leo. They're already in Leo's world. Maybe they go to live with Leo, and Leo and this person together, like, wrap up their previous, life and connection, everything that goes along with that. And maybe Leo had to be an integrated part into that for a reason. That's kind of what this whole thing looks like. It's not like they were trying to shirk their responsibilities. It's that it's almost like, for this to work out, Leo has wanted them to come into their world with that magician card, and that's exactly what they wanted to do too. So I actually think it's a great match for this. I mean, maybe it's different than what I would have expected it to be like, but this is perfect for the two of them. All right, I'm going to leave that there. Thank you for hanging out. Thanks for giving it a thumbs up. Bye.